Hi, I'm Joy. Today we're going to do a short flow. We're just going to get started, so if you want to know anything about this flow, you can read the description below. Otherwise, you can join me, and we're going to start in tabletop, center of our mat. Bring your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. Place the tops of your feet on the mat. Spread your fingertips wide. Press into your hands as you exhale. Chin toward your chest, tone your belly in and up. And then inhale, come forward, bring your chest forward, belly toward the mat. Exhale, press into your hands. Press your spine toward the ceiling. Then inhale, come forward to cow pose. Do this a few times to your own breath to start to get warmed up for practice today. Maybe coming into your hips a little bit. You can come into some hip circles. And do whatever you need to do to warm up. And then we'll meet back in tabletop, neutral spine. Start to walk your hands forward and your feet back, coming into a plank pose. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Spread your fingertips wide. Really grip the mat with your fingerprints. And make sure your heels are over your toes, feet hip width, and gaze forward. Now you can stay here in plank, or you can lower down, do a push-up, and come back up into plank. Wherever you are, lift your right leg up and back behind you. Bend your knee, bring it through, knee to nose. Really squeeze your heel towards your glute. Extend your right leg back. Bend your knee, knee to nose. Extend it back and lower it down. Second side. Extend your left leg back behind you. Bend your knee, knee to nose. Extend your leg back. Bend your knee, knee to nose. Squeeze that heel toward the glute. Extend it back. Feet both on the mat. Press your hips up and back for downward facing dog. So bend your knees a lot here if you need to. Heels toward the back of the mat. Press into your hands a lot. And take a few cycles of breath here in down dog. And gaze forward between your hands. Step all the way through. Come into a half lift, flat back, and then exhale, fold. Bend your knees a lot to get your torso toward your thighs, your face toward your shins. Then on your inhale, come all the way up. Extend your arms up overhead. Stretch up through your fingertips, and then come to standing at the front of your mat. On your next inhale, extend your hands up and overhead. Hinge at your hips. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back into your plank pose. Maybe stay in plank if you're happy here. Or you can go back, do a push-up, come back into plank, press your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Then come into three-legged dog. Lift your right leg up and back behind you. Bend your knee and bring your foot all the way through your hand. Step it through as far as you can so that your knee is over your front ankle and your shin is vertical. You can either drop your back knee or lift it up, but keep it straight and strong. If it's lifted, square your hips toward the front of the mat. Your hands are going to stay on the mat. Gaze forward for low runner's lunge. And then plant your hands, step back into your plank. Either do your push-up or just push your hips up and back for down dog. And lift your left leg up and back behind you for three-legged dog. Bend your knee. Bring it all the way back through for that runner's lunge. Make that front shin. Your front knee is widening out toward your pinky toe. You're either on your fingertips or your hands can be flat on the mat. And make that back leg straight and strong, gaze forward. And then plant your hands, come back into plank or downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up and back behind you again. Bring it through for lunge this time. We're going to press into our feet a lot here. Come up into high lunge. In high lunge, make sure your front knee is widening out toward your pinky toe. Your back leg is straight and strong. Hips are squaring towards the front. Tone your belly in and up, ribs back, stretch up through your hands. And then open toward the left side. Spin your back heel down, parallel with the short edge of your mat. Bend into your front knee a little bit more. Extend your hands out for warrior two. Start to straighten your front leg. We're going into triangle, so hinge forward a lot. Either bring your right hand to your shin, a block, or the mat. Lift your left fingertips up toward the ceiling. Then bring your hands down to frame your front foot. Spin your back a foot up. Come into that plank push-up or downward facing dog. Left side. Left leg, three-legged dog. Lift it up and back behind you. Bend your knee. Bring it all the way through for your lunge. Widen your front knee towards your pinky toe. Press into your feet. Extend your arms up over your head. Now make this back leg straight and strong, heel over toes. Square your hips toward the front, tone your belly in and up, extend through your fingertips. Open up toward the right, spin that back heel parallel, the short edge of your mat, extend out through your fingertips, gaze over your front hand. Push your hips straight down. Straighten your front leg, come into a triangle. Hinge at your hips, start to tilt your body forward. Come onto that shin or the floor or a block or wherever feels the best for you. You can look down, you can look up. And then bring your hand down to frame your front foot. Spin your back foot up. And come back to our front plank. Maybe do a push-up. Then come back into downward facing dog. So bend your knees a lot in down dog, and we're going to actually walk our hands back to our feet. Do a forward fold here. Then place your hands on your hips, elbows pointing up. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Okay, so now that we're all warm, we're gonna come into chair pose. Feet together. Squeeze your legs in toward each other. Glutes are on fire here, so are your quads. Sit back into your hips. Reach your arms up. Tone your belly in and up. Chin up. Maybe sit back a little bit more. Bring your hands to heart center. Twist over toward the right and hook your left elbow on the outside of your right thigh for a twisted chair. Press into your hands a lot and use your core to twist a little bit more to the right. Look down at your knees. Make sure that they're pretty much in line. Come back through center, and we're just going to twist over to the left. Press into your hands a lot. Twist through your core. One more breath. Come back to center and stand all the way up. My quads are on fire a little bit. You can shake it out some. All right, then bring your hands to your hips, look toward the front of your mat, and we're going to just step forward into a lunge. So Take a big step forward with your right foot as far as you can, come into a lunge, and then drop your back knee. Place the top of your back foot onto the mat and stay here. Gaze forward. Pull your front heel down and back. Then you can bring your right hand to your front quad or thigh and bend your back heel up for a quad stretch. Reach back and grab your foot. For me, it's going to look a little bit different. But squeeze your heel towards your glute. Try to keep your hips square here. And you may bend a little bit more into your right hip flexor, and that's okay. Slowly release your foot back. Place your hands down. Come back into your downward facing dog. Bend your knees a lot. Walk your hands toward your feet. Forward fold, hands on hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Second side, right side. All right, step all the way forward. Oh, I'm sorry, we just did the right side. Left side, step all the way forward. Drop your back knee. Then quad stretch. Bring your right heel toward your right glute. Gaze forward, reach around. Grab the foot. Square your chest toward the front of your mat. Few more breaths here. Then release your right leg. Place your hands down to frame your front foot. Step back into your plank. Let's try one more push-up here, maybe if you're feeling it. And then drop your knees. And come into a seat for forward fold. So extend your legs out in front of you. Sit up straight and tall. Flex through your feet a lot. Maybe you need to bend your knees. If your hamstrings are kind of screaming at you and they're not having this, you might have to start bent with your knees bent. You can grab your feet and walk your feet out, or you can just hinge your hips and come into a forward fold. Either way, tone your belly in and up. Extend through your feet, pull back with your hands. If you're holding onto your feet, if you're not, wherever you are, keep everything engaged. Then inhale, come up. And stay where you are, bend your knees. Place your feet hip width apart, about 6 inches away from your glutes. Bring your hands behind you, fingertips pointing toward the edge of your mat, and widen your hands a little bit so that your fingertips are actually touching the edges of your mat. Gaze forward. Tone your belly, squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back, press into your feet, your hands come up for reverse table. Try to get your outer hips higher than your inner thighs, if that makes any sense to you. And if it feels good for your neck, you can let your head rest back. Press into your feet a lot, squeeze your glutes, and then lower down. Okay. Now, come onto your back, keeping your knees bent here. Bring your feet to the outer edges of your mat, hands to a T or a goalpost shape, and then let your legs fall over to the right for double diamond. And you can stay here, or if you need a little bit more, you can hook your right heel on your left thigh. Try to keep your shoulder blades connected to the mat. Release your feet, come back up through center, and then let your legs fall over toward the left. Same thing. If you need a little bit more here, feel free to hook your left heel over your right thigh. And just take a few deep breaths. Those push-ups made me a little bit tired. And come back up through center. Squeeze your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Maybe bring your forehead towards your knees if that feels good for you. And then rock up and come into an easy seat. And that's it. Great job, everybody. That was a quick flow, hopefully to help you get a little energized today. And I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.